I'm a 27-year-old neuroscientist. I studied the brain for 6 years, and I listened to Andrew Huberman's 2-hour podcast on the confidence behind communication. And here are my favorite takeaways. So I have my notes right here, so if I'm looking down, that's why. But the number one point that they kept drilling in this episode is what I've talked before in my confidence series is to get out of your head when it comes to confidence. Confident people fully shift their focus outwards rather than inwards. If you go back to my confidence series, I have a full episode talking about how confident people and people with a confident aura fully shift their attention outwards to read their audience, read who they're speaking to, and worry about how what they're saying is landing rather than focusing on the self-doubt of, is what I'm doing good enough? And that brings me to the next point I really liked in this podcast was that most people are so worried about the content that they're putting out rather than thinking about how it lands for people. Confident people know their content is already valuable, right? They don't have to second guess that. But what makes the confidence is being able to actually deliver the content in different ways to match your audience. Being a good communicator is being able to shift your delivery, whether you're talking to a boss, a friend, a colleague, whomever. Success isn't that you presented well, it's that the audience actually takes what you said and they're able to do something with it and understand it. This means that you need to be engaging, you need to ask questions, you need to match the delivery with your audience. Use example that hit home with who you're speaking to. If you're speaking to a 10-year-old versus a 50-year-old, you're going to have different experiences and life examples that resonate with that crowd. Now, moving into how to communicate like a professional and confidently, the biggest tip I took down was a lot of communication is about how your audience is responding to you. So when I think of this in a life example, I'm a CRA, which means I travel to doctors' offices and sites. So I think about how I talk to my doctors who are short on time, they have 5 minutes, they are intelligent, they're way more experienced than me, versus how I talk to newer site staff or my colleagues. To speak confidently, we have to get outside of our self-judgment and understand our audience. Repetition, reflection, and feedback. Understand that asking for feedback and constructive criticism isn't necessarily criticism, it is allowing you to understand how the audience felt, what they were left with, and how you can improve. You need to understand that you have value to bring to the table and the audience wants that value. It's just how you deliver it. Structure is also critical. The what, so what, and now what. Think of marketers when they're looking to sell a product. They need to think of why the consumer would care. Why would the consumer buy? So a good speaker will set expectations at the beginning of what they're saying so the audience knows where they're going. Just like hooking a viewer on social media, you have 2 seconds to grab that attention, or delivering a presentation or writing a book, you foreshadow where you're going, spark interest, and then set clear expectations to develop the story. If you found this interesting, I love Andrew Huberman's podcast. He's a neuroscientist from Stanford. I've been listening to him for years. Let me know, and our next video can be how to actually get outside the fear and become a more confident speaker.